Psalm 3. Worshipers, you can come be seated. Michael look like security back there. Let him in, Mike. Amen. Mike came out for 2 nights. I don't know, maybe more, but came out 2 nights to share in our missions work last week. And, amen. He taught the young man how to throw the football, and I thank God for him. Amen. I looked up, though. It was hard getting in church with Mike right there. Amen. And they need some brothers like that. Amen. Amen. I'm not going to say that. Amen. Psalm 3. I'm reading from the New American Standard Version, and it reads as follows. O Lord, how my adversaries have increased. Many are rising up against me. Many are saying of my soul, there is no deliverance for him in God. But you, O Lord, are a shield about me, my glory, and the one who lifts my head. I was crying to the Lord with my voice, and he answered me from his holy mountain. If I lay down and slept, I awoke, for the Lord sustains me. I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people who have set themselves against me round about. Arise, O Lord. Save me, O my God. For you have smitten all my enemies on the cheek. You have shattered the teeth of the wicked. Salvation belongs to the Lord. Your blessing be upon your people. Thus ends the reading of our text this morning. For the next few moments, friends, I will share with you from the subject, when they come for you. Amen. When they come for you. We witness in the text the psalmist David, he's on the run. He's on the run because there are those that are trying to destroy him. There are those who are trying to kill him. There are those who want his spot. For he is the king. The sad part of the tale, the part that makes it hurt a little bit more, is that the one who is coming after him is his son. For you see, Absalom has got into his mind that I ought to be the king. He has come to the conclusion that says, I ought to have what you have for no other reason than I want it. For you see, since the birth of Absalom, the third son of David, we have seen others coddle him and cajole him. We have seen others say kind things about him. If I had to think in my sanctified imagination, I would think that Absalom is full of himself. For you see, in 2 Samuel chapter 14, it tells you that he is the most handsome man that have walked the face of the earth. And from the time he was born, they were telling him, Sister Dara, you are so charming. You have great style, that you have all of these royal pretensions. This is who is after his father. We see Absalom. But he didn't go astray all at once. See, it's not like many folks. It is like many folks that it starts off small. See, what happened was, it's easy to root for a guy like Absalom because we first met him and he was bringing back vengeance on the person who had raped his sister. See, if you'll recall, his sister Tamar had been raped by their half-brother Amnon, and Amnon had done this, and so what we see in the text is Absalom waited for 2 years. He waited for 2 years plotting. He waited for 2 years wishing until he was able to take his vengeance on his half-brother. So as you are reading the text, it's easy to root for a guy like that. Amen. I have 2 sisters. I have 2 daughters. I know this understanding that says, I want to protect you.
Yes, my Lord.
He went and did what he needed to do. And here in the text, we see that as time went on, he began to fill himself with all the thoughts that the people were giving him. And so one day he decided, I'm going to be the king. It starts off small when you just start talking bad about the person who is the king. Oh, it happens in churches all the time. You go to those quiet spaces and someone says, I don't know the Pastor, he's not all that.
Amen.
It starts off small in the corners of our phones and in the houses where we sit. It starts off with those few bad words. And then it ends up into full-blown rebellion. That's what happened in the text here. He's after his father. He wants the spot that his father has. And we ask ourselves, what do you do when they come for you?
Amen.
For you see, in 1946, we're able to remember the words. At first, they came for the communists. But we didn't say anything because we are not communists. Then they came for the socialists. But we didn't say anything because we are not socialists. Then they came for the trade unionists. But we didn't speak out because we're not trade unionists. And then they came for me. But there was no one left to say anything because everyone is now gone. These are the times in which we live, my brothers and sisters. When folks are chanting, ship them away, and folks are telling them who deserves to be here. And there are some who believe that we must sit idle in the face of the evil that we are living in right now. But if we say nothing, and not just if we say nothing, if we do nothing, if we fail to vote, if we fail to rouse the conscience of the nation, then what will we do when they come for us? Because nobody else will be able to speak the words that we need. What is going on right now? Are we all right?
Yeah, he wants to get out.
All right, sounds good. Yes, ma'am. Here in the text, we see that Absalom is after his father. What do? You do what we see David does. He recognizes right here in the text this plight of the psalmist. That if he is going to make it out away from his son, the son who wants to take him out, the son who wants his spot, the first thing that he must do is recognize that the Lord is his helper.
Amen.
Too many times we are looking to too many places trying to find help, but folks can't help us.
Amen.
We want people to do things they just can't do. We want people to give what they just don't have.
Amen.
But we fail to recognize, like David did, that if we are going to get the help that we need, we must look to the one who is the help.
Amen.
And the help is God.
Yes.
Because after a while, look at what the text says, his adversaries have increased.
Yes.
I know there's one or two of you here today that know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Your adversaries have increased.
Amen.
You thought folks didn't like you yesterday. Just try to do something new today. You thought folks was talking about you before. Wait until you decide to take a leap of faith and do something that God has blessed you with. Wait till you decide that you're going to turn over a new leaf in your life. Wait until you decide that you're going to live for God, that you are going to pray the prayers of Zion, that you are going to sing unto the Lord. Wait until you decide to come to church on Wednesday night and Sunday morning. Wait until you call in on Thursday morning to the prayer line or meet the prayer warriors on Tuesday morning. Just wait till you decide to do something new. You thought they didn't like you yesterday. Just wait till tomorrow. Because it's going to take some time. Those adversaries will increase. It was all good just yesterday.
Amen.
Don't you remember David as that bold-faced boy walking up to see his brothers, bringing the food from his father Jesse to the front lines to his brothers that were fighting the Philistines? Don't you remember that he only had one adversary that day? His name was Goliath, the one who was strong, the one who was big. Don't you remember that day he went to the brook and got 5 smooth stones and he stood in front of Goliath and said, I stand in front of you in the name of the Lord. He hits him in the head. He chops off his head. It would seem that everything was good. Folks are cheering your name one day. They'll be cursing you the next day. What happens when they come for you? Because if I'm the king, it would seem as if everybody should like me. Everybody should love me. Everybody should help me. But Biggie said it best, more money, more problems. You see in the text that if we are going to deal with the opposition that is coming our way, we must look to the God who is our help. For these enemies are now numerous. And look at what it says. They're rising against him. Many are saying of my soul, there is no deliverance for him in God. There is no more deliverance for him in God. What happens when they come for you? You look to those who can help you, and you look to God who can help you, but there are going to be some folks in your circle, maybe outside of your circle, that are going to tell you these words. Just smile if you've ever heard this. Why do you keep on praying? They're trying to convince you what verse 2 says, that there is no deliverance in God. What does the New Testament say? Y'all been saying Jesus is coming back for a long time now, but he still ain't here. What's the problem? I've been looking for him for a while. Where is he? What's the problem? Here is what we have to recognize, that if when they come for you and you look to the God who will help you, that means that you got to cut off some folks that can't. Oh, I know it's the truth anyhow. Amen, lights. Hallelujah, doors. Because I tell you it's the truth anyhow. You looking to God to help you in your situation, but yet there are those who are on the periphery of your life that are telling you all the things that God won't do. You need some folks that can tell you what God can do. I don't need to always hear about what you don't think God's going to do, or what God's not going to bless me, and God's not going to heal me, and God's not going to make a way for me. I need some folks in my life that will speak words of life in my life, that will say God will still. What you going to do when they come for you, you better make sure you cut off those folks that are on the periphery. You know, the ones trying to get in your inner circle. Oh, hallelujah. What does the text say? The text tells us, and I shared with you last week, that at the end of there is no deliverance for him in God, it says Selah. Stop. Think about it. This idea that says, how many times has someone tried to convince you what God won't do for you? And you had to wait and get on your knees so that God can remind you what he will do for you. See, I watch out from hanging around too many folks that's always negative.
All right. Amen.
See, because negative folk will get you negative. They'll have you thinking that's never going to work out, that things won't make a way. They'll have you thinking they are putting their insecurities onto you.
Yes.
Just because you can't see it doesn't mean I don't see it. Just because you can't do it doesn't mean I can't do it. That's you. It's me. Here in the text. So they look to God who is the helper, as Absalom is coming to take over his father David. Look at what the text says. But you, O Lord, you are a shield about me, my glory, and the one who lifts my head. I was crying to the Lord with my voice, and he answered me from his holy mountain. Just say, the Lord answers. The Lord answers. The Lord answers. The Lord answers. So we're looking to God for help. We need help because our enemies are all around us, and now they're coming for us. See, it's easy when they're coming for somebody else. Amen. When someone else's rights are disenfranchised, when someone else can't vote, when someone else's community is dealing with the problems, it's all right as long as it's over there. But see, when it comes here, that's when we have to deal with the issues of our time, when the issues are right in our communities, in our churches, in our families, in our areas. And here we'll see that when we look to God for help, God will answer. God will answer. My brothers and my sisters, the issue that presents itself when we are seeking answers from God, knowing by faith that he will answer, is this understanding of patience. Amen. What does it mean? We've gone through this time and time again, this ability to wait without becoming frustrated. How many of us have the wherewithal to wait on God? Yeah. Because if we're honest about it, hallelujah. If we're honest about it, some of the things that we were asking God for, had we gotten them, We'd be a mess right now. But God held some things back from us because he didn't want us to realize and mess up with things we weren't ready for. See, that's what happens oftentimes in professional sports. You giving 21-year-old guys $10 million, guess what? They going to the club. Oh, and no, everybody don't want to hear it. They don't want to listen to me. But it's the truth anyway. You can't expect them to do something that you wasn't doing at 21. Say hallelujah. Oh, just because they on TV doesn't mean they're not doing the stuff you was doing at 19. They're doing the same stuff. They just got a couple more dollars. Amen. Hallelujah. Here in the text, we have to be willing to wait on the answer from God. And notice what it says. It says that here he was crying unto the Lord. Oh, see, that's that prayer that y'all know something about. That's that war room type of prayer. That's that type of prayer when ain't nobody else in the house but you. That's that type of prayer when you're looking at the clock and you say, why am I still awake? That's that type of prayer that you say, I don't know if I'm going to make it to tomorrow. That's that type of prayer that says, I don't know if I'm going to make it to the next thing. That's that type of prayer you got to take your glasses off for. You got to get on your knees for a while for. That's that type of prayer where the tears are streaming down your face and you are saying, I might not make it. And all of a sudden when you're ready to throw in the towel because they are coming for you, the Lord sends an answer from on high. And that answer from on high fills you up on the inside. And it makes you stand, but God is my help. And he's not just my help, but God is my strength. God is my salvation. God. But they used to say he's the wheel in the middle of the wheel. Here in the text, we see David. Can you put yourself in David's shoes for a minute? Allow yourself to be in the personal space of him right now. You've given everything for your children. You've risked it all. And the one who you love, the one who you've given it for, that's the one that's coming to get you.
Amen.
Oh, yeah. It's the one that you held close. It's the one trying to stab you in the back. It's the one that you sacrificed for. That's the one that's on the way. I'm running from my own son. David is crying, and the Lord is answering. Because the Lord answers prayer. Well, the good part of the song is right here. For when we recognize where our help comes from, and we look to God who is our help, when we find ourselves at wit's end and we begin to pray and the Lord answers the prayer, there's a certain level of confidence that comes from answered prayer. There's a certain level of confidence that comes from answered prayer. Some of y'all got to stop trying to defend yourselves, everybody. You got to stop trying to make folks see what they can't see. You got to stop wasting your time trying to argue about stuff that you're never going to change their mind about. You got to stop risking your personal self-worth on what someone else says about you. When God answers the prayer, when God is in the mix, it brings a certain level of confidence in your life. If you're looking for some confidence, then you need to make sure that you've heard from God. And if you've heard from God, you can go to sleep at night. If you've heard from God, you can walk tall in the morning. If you heard from God, you can go where you very well please to go, because you know that God goes before you. If you heard from God, then no man shall put fear in your heart, because you said, God before me is more than the world against me. If God answers your prayer, it don't matter what the doctors say. It's God. Look at what the text says. The text says that after he was crying and the Lord answered the prayer, I lay down and I went to sleep. And I woke, you know why? Because the Lord sustains me. I will not be afraid of 10,000 people who have set themselves against me around about, because God is going to fight for me. See, this understanding that the knowledge that God is his helper, that God is his protector, makes his sleep possible. We losing sleep because we're worried about things. But God gives you confidence to go to sleep. Some folks don't want to go to sleep because they're scared they won't wake up. But see, God gives you confidence to let you go to sleep. Because even if I don't wake up here, I'm going to wake up somewhere. And I tell you on that big no more. But God will be there with me. And y'all just make sure you sing some hymns and say he was a good man. But just know I'll be with glory with the Lord. Some folks don't want to do all the things that they know they can do because they're scared. But if God says yes, God says yes, who are we to say no? Amen. Have you ever thought that God believes in you? Amen. That's all right. Think about that for a second. It's one thing that if your parents believe in you, that's good. It's another thing that when your children believe in you, that's good. Yes. Your friends, your co-workers, that's good. But have you ever considered the thought that the God of all creation, the God who was and is to come, the God who was in the beginning and spoke and there it was, have you ever considered that God believes in you? Yes, thank you. If you go back to the scriptures in Job, you'll say, have you considered my servant Job? Yes. Think about that for a second. Right now, the next time you are saying in your mind, when all these enemies are coming for you, when all of these negative thoughts are coming in your mind, I want you to say to yourself that God believes in you. Amen. That's all right. You see, if God believes in me, it lets me do it a little bit better. Matter of fact, tell your neighbor, God believes in you. God believes in you. It's something when you can build up the confidence of someone that's around you. That you can say what they can do, that you can believe everything inside. Here in the text, David, who is on the run from his son who wants to kill him, David, who was just finished crying, and 2 verses before now has the confidence to go to sleep. Amen. You know why I have the confidence to go to sleep? Because the Lord sustains me. Oh, hallelujah. The Lord sustains me. What does that word sustain mean? It means it gives you what you need for right now. Whoa. Amen. It gives you what you need for right now. See, yesterday I was on the boulevard. I took the girls to a birthday party, and on my way back, and there was a brother right there on the boulevard in the median who was selling Gatorade. Now, he's gotten better because, see, I've seen him for a while now. And so now he has a chair, right? See, before this brother was just sweating in the middle of the street, running with Gatorade as far as the eye could see. But I noticed that he's improved. So he had a chair. He has a little thing on top, a little canopy now, right? And he has a table. Now, see, when the brother first started, he just had some drinks and a cooler, and he was sweating. No shirt or nothing, scaring folks half to death. Running up, want something to drink, right? Want something to drink. And so yesterday, I saw him and I decided, I said, I'm going to buy me some Gatorade from the brother today. And so he comes up and he was so defeated, right? It's so hot. It was so hot. He came up, he didn't have the usual pep in his step. Usually he's like, hey, you want Gatorade? And yesterday it was just like, hey. What I got. And so I saw the brother was a little bit down, a little bit hot, I guess the canopy wasn't doing what it needed to do. And so I said to him, he said, which one you want? I said, how about I take 5 Gatorades? His eyes got big. You want 5 Gatorades? I said 5 Gatorades. Now, mind you, I only had about 8.25, so I'm working for quarters at the light, right? Working for quarters at the light. But the thing that I saw that I wanted you to understand is that when someone believed in his mission and was able to support what he was doing, it gave him a certain level of energy that he didn't have before. See, when you're able to support support and you're able to give and you're able to bless and you're able to build up someone that they then have confidence in themselves that maybe they didn't have a little while ago, because the sun gets hot some days and some days you don't know if you're going to make it. If you're not going to make it past that day. But nevertheless, here this man said, I bought 5 Gatorades, and when he left, he had a pep in his step. He went back to his cooler and got some more for the table. He was ready for action. I tell you, when God believes in you, it gives you a level of confidence that you can go on a little while longer. I still got some Gatorade. I don't even drink it that much. I bought it for the brother. It was good, the one I drank, but I bought it for the brother. In the same way God does the same for us. The Lord will sustain you for what you need right now. Is there anyone that can testify to that? The Lord will sustain you for what you need right now. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. I tell you, you're in a situation, you say, I don't know about tomorrow. The Lord will sustain you for what you need right now. You say, I don't know what we're going to eat tomorrow. The Lord will sustain you for what you need right now. You say, I don't know if I can pay that bill. The Lord will sustain you for what you need right now.
Thank you, Lord.
Here David is, and David recognizes that my help is coming from the helper. And since he has answered my prayer, I now have confidence that I can be at peace in my life, knowing that this will soon pass. Look at the text, and I'm through. Verse 7, arise, O Lord, and save me. For you have smitten all my enemies on the cheek. You have shattered the teeth of the wicked. Salvation belongs to the Lord. Amen. Your blessing be upon your people. Now that he has this confidence, he is able to recognize and look back over his life and realize that salvation belongs to the Lord. Let me see if I can speed this up. Well, here is Absalom, and Absalom's coming for his father David, and he has all these men, because the text tells us at the uprising that all of Israel and all of Judah had come with Absalom. They're on their way to get David. And don't you know that salvation belongs to the Lord? Notice what happens in the text. Not this text, you'll have to believe me, take my word for it. Well, as Absalom was riding on the donkey, as he was on his way to go and defeat his father, as he was on his way to try to take what wasn't his, as he was on his way to steal what wasn't his to take, don't you know that the donkey went past the tree? And the tree was hanging kind of low. And the tree was hanging low, and Absalom is so excited that he's about to become the king that don't you know the donkey kept going? And don't you know that that tree limb took off Absalom's head? And don't you know that God says, I'm tired of you thinking you got to fight all these battles for yourself. I will do it for you. Salvation belongs to God. Salvation belongs to the Lord. All we have to do is stand still and see the glory of God. Put your hope and trust in the Lord, and the Lord will fight your battles for you. That person that's trying to take you out, never mind them. The victory belongs to Jesus. Never mind what they got to say, because God will fight your battles.
Yes, He will.
When they come for you, you just tell them who you with. When they come for you, you remind them that salvation belongs to the Lord. When they come for you, just remember that your confidence is built in God. When they come for you, don't be looking left and right for your help. For your help comes from the hills. Look to where God is. God will make a way somehow. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Well, if you never received Jesus, if you've never received Jesus, I invite you to come. I invite you to come. Yesterday, my youngest sister Jennifer and her husband and their children, they laid to rest Brother Ron's sister, Sister Ronnie Wilson. I forget the married name. Mason. 41 years old. Jen would call and we would talk. And you begin to say to yourself, well, there's nothing left to say, there's nothing left to do, just try to be there for them. But one thing is certain, and I'm so glad I heard this testimony. Sister Ronnie had said, I don't want a funeral. Y'all just come and say some nice things about me, because I know where I'm going. See, that's confidence. Even in the face of the illness, that's confidence. That says, I know that my Redeemer lives. And I know that he shall stand. You've never received Jesus Christ. I invite you to come. I invite you to come. Second, if you're looking for a good church to join, I'd invite you to join us here as we serve the Lord together with joy and gladness. Now you'll realize that when I pray our pastoral prayer, I say the same thing every week. And that is that, Lord, if this is where you would have them to be, let them come. Well, if you believe that God is leading you to be here, then now is the time. If you want someone to pray with you, I'd love to pray with you. Because see, what David did, we do always. We look to where our help is, and where the answers that provides us confidence, and the confidence that says that salvation belongs to the Lord. Let us stand. The doors of the church are open. Let whoever's to come, let them come. Let them come. All of them.